Texas is projected to be the data center capital of the world by 2030. Abilene, Texas, a town of 133,000 people, is home to one of the largest data center builds on Earth, Project Stargate.
This is, to me, a very big thing, $500 billion.
Before the data center, Abilene was best known for its 3 Christian colleges and an Air Force base.
I'm not saying that we were the guinea pig, but we are. The big one came here.
I was curious how an AI megastructure impacts such a small place. So I went to Abilene to talk to locals about how this build-out has changed local life.
We haven't seen Abilene grow like this.
It feels like an invasion, and find out if data centers can be built sustainably.
How can we help the state of Texas to build it aligned with resource readiness?
So I just checked out Stargate 1, and let's just say it looks like it might still be a few years out. There are a ton of ranches next to the site of Stargate 1. There are animals, there are houses, people live here. They thought they had a country life, a nice quiet retreat from the world, and suddenly like over 6,000, 7,000 people come in, starting to build massive data center.
Dagsen, how are you doing?
Hi, good. You, Robert? Nice to meet you in person, man.
Pleasure to meet you.
Dude, thank you so much. So, how close are you to the data center?
So we are about a half mile from the data center. It's just off to our east over here.
Yep.
If you look over the trees, you can see they've got some of their temporary tents set up, and they're starting to work on buildings over there. Just kind of over the last few months, there's been a lot more activity with the data center, a lot more traffic, especially. You can see the lights at night. It's a 24-hour operation over there, so there's always somebody working on something. But yeah, a lot of work trucks primarily, and just construction equipment coming back and forth. All this traffic kind of moved in, and that's why people are concerned, and they have every right to be concerned.
Traffic is shitty, roads are shitty because they weren't prepared for this.
Like, it would take me 10 minutes to get to work. Now it takes me 35 or 40.
How does it feel being next to this thing?
In some ways it's a little daunting, but in some ways it's exciting as well. The traffic isn't the most convenient thing to deal with, but especially with the building versus when it's completed in operation, that will change it. That will change again and should get a little bit better.
We're here at Taylor County Expo Center. We just stumbled into a full-on rodeo. Hey! What y'all doing? Oh, we're building a documentary in Abilene.
Abilene, Texas is the cowboy capital of the world.
Okay, well, wait a minute. Did you grow up in Abilene yourself?
Growed up, born and raised.
Most people here are, you talk about just kind of honest, down-to-earth people.
So how has the town developed over the years? How has you been seeing things progress?
This town has developed slowly, but in the last 5 or 6 years, the town has blown up. We've got new AI out here, and it scares me a little.
How are your peers feeling about like AI, like all the infrastructure that's being built out for all that stuff here?
It's hard.
Yeah.
Just to see a little town like Abilene get hit like that. But I mean, there's so much room for so much development, and I think it has its place here. I do.
Yo! Oh my God. Okay. Also,
he loves it. He loves the camera. A lot of people here they don't know what it is.
When you say in a data center, no.
Yeah.
What does that exactly mean?
A data center is basically a machine that turns energy into computing power. OpenAI and Oracle's initial commitment in Abilene was for a facility that can draw up to 1.2 gigawatts of energy. For context, 1.2 gigawatts is enough electricity to power roughly 1 million houses for a year. But in 2025, they considered adding 58% more capacity on the site, with another 700 megawatt facility. Those plans were abandoned, but Microsoft jumped in and took over, becoming OpenAI and Oracle's new neighbor on the Abilene site. New Stargate facilities in Wisconsin and Michigan have already broken ground. The people on the ground in Abilene are wondering, where is all of the energy coming from?
Usually when you have a large load, you get it connected to the grid. Most of the time in the past, the load comes on the grid. They will have a lead time of a couple of years, 3, 4, 5 years. The issue right now is when the data center comes, how fast they want it. 2 years or under, 18 months, right? You can immediately see there is an inherent disconnect of the timing. So to answer your question, where does the electricity come from? What does, the projects like the Abilene projects they do? They would bring their own generation. And for example, many of them choose gas turbines or natural gas power generation on the site of the data center or close by.
Yeah, well, we're just having a conversation. Pretend these guys aren't here.
To get my good side.
Yeah. We're here today with Terry Knight, and a lot of people I've met in Abilene have described you as a bit of a local legend. You want to tell me a bit about yourself?
Really? That's awesome. Yeah, I think it's probably the best thing they know me for is when I was on the rock station. I was known as the Queen. And so that's where all of these photos and all that stuff comes from.
In recent years, with all the investment in like AI infrastructure, data centers, how has that been affecting you? What have you been noticing on the ground yourself?
Oh my gosh. So many people moved in. I don't think they realized how many people were actually going to be here. You know, but I mean, it's good for the city. A lot of new businesses are coming in and a lot of good stuff. So there's a lot of positivity to it too.
Yes, yes. Texas is currently projected to be the data center capital of America by 2030. How do you feel about that personally?
The people here they're very generous. And they really do look after each other. So you've got that small town mentality turning into Dallas, turning into the big city. And they've tried for so long to keep that out, but it's not, you can't.
Yeah.
I really hope that all those wide open spaces are not going away, but those places are huge.
So, we are here at a monster truck rally, basically the main event of Saturday night in Abilene, Texas.
Are you guys ready to see a monster truck show?
How has the town changed over the past, like the time you lived here?
All the data plants are coming and bringing a lot more people.
Everything's getting really expensive.
Yeah.
Really?
Yes.
The average rent in Abilene right now is like almost $2,500 a month.
What?
Yeah.
That's
it's almost impossible to get somewhere to live right now.
That's so terrible.
You find out the hotels go up from $60 to $120 a night. That's when we were like, what the hell is going on?
Yeah.
Those companies will pay whatever for hotels or renting houses. They'll pay whatever. It doesn't bother them, but everybody that still lives here,
kind of invaded Abilene
the
with
local
a whole
companies
bunch
can't.
of workers.
How do you feel about AI yourself? Do you ever use it? Or?
Yeah, I mean, artificial intelligence is good, especially when you need help and need to make some quick how-tos.
I really don't know anything about it. I just know it's making everything expensive.
You're quick to want to know something, it's right there.
Have you noticed any direct effects of the data centers being built here?
What I am seeing the impact of is harder for my staff to find places to live if their leases are up because all of a sudden rents are higher.
The increase in well-paying jobs is not going to stick around. But the prices going up, that is going to stay.
Yeah.
That's scary to me.
I mean, the most on-the-ground direct impacts is housing. Families are showing up at shelters needing help.
Every time you drive on any side of the town, you see just little homes. They keep adding and adding and adding.
Wow.
It's been definitely stressful. I know a lot of students have been looking about just like where they're going to live and how housing is just going up in price.
So I've been hearing that it's been impacting just housing a lot here. I'm curious how students are feeling the impacts of it.
Over the last several months is where we started to really hear a lot of disruption from our students related to difficulty of finding housing or even the price of the housing just because their leases are going up pretty substantially in some cases.
How are you addressing it?
So we were right now looking at building 5 buildings. We've also been trying to acquire additional housing as it comes available in our neighborhood. The biggest challenge in all of this is how do we do it sustainably, how do we do it well together?
Yes. So Texas is currently projected to be basically the largest AI infrastructure capital of America by 2030. How do you feel about that yourself as a Texan?
I think it's super exciting. I think we clearly see a new economy emerging for our country and probably globally that's going to require a significant focus on energy for computing capabilities and specifically with regard to AI.
All the new AI plants and everything.
Yeah.
I'm all for it.
Yeah.
But it's scary because I've seen droughts.
As far as agriculture goes and even human consumption, there's going to be a huge battle over there.
Water has always been a big deal in West Texas.
Yeah.
The lack of water.
Texas has historically had a lot of water problems in the past. What are your findings with regards to water usage and how to manage that sustainably?
I think that water is definitely an issue. Someone told me that water is for the fight and whiskey is for drink. The choices of cooling technology will determine what type of water usage. If too two data centers, they have exactly identical cooling technology choice. Depends on what is their generation strategy. Where do they get their electricity? Because many of the trade-off of the cooling technology is if you want to use less water, you probably will end up using more electricity. And actually in Texas, the one sector takes most of the water. Do you know which one? It's agriculture. Data center does take water. I'm not saying it doesn't, but what is the relative size compared to other things? What I'm trying to say is people really have to put it in context.
Crusoe and OpenAI say that Abilene's original 8 buildings require an initial fill of about 30.3 million liters, which is around 12 Olympic swimming pools. Using a closed-loop system, Crusoe claims that it can drastically reduce water demands. Evaporation is a big problem for water usage in some data centers, but Crusoe's closed-loop system basically makes the data center the world's largest water-cooled gaming PC that keeps most of the original fill circulating through it. For upkeep, the system is stated to require approximately 382,000 liters of water per year, which is around 92% of the water the average American household uses annually. This is not how all data centers are constructed, however, and keep in mind, these are the figures coming directly from OpenAI and its partners. What are the difficulties people are encountering right now that you're hearing about?
I just think like the land, honestly, like land is limited anywhere you go. We're running out of land for farmers and ranchers.
One thing is I certainly don't want the data centers to take over like farmland and things that supply us with food.
I think it is a little sad sometimes to see like places that used to be like wide and expansive and like beautiful and like very Texas like landscape is just kind of turning into data centers. Like, okay, I don't know if that's what I want to be known for.
1,000 acres is a large tract of land. But yeah, flying over it changed my perspective and knowing that that's just phase 1. When you get a sense of the scale of that parking lot and think that's almost as large as like SeaWorld parking lot.
And it's very difficult to see this stuff from the publicly accessible perimeter.
It is.
Yeah.
It doesn't give it the scale. You can see a big building, but it just looks like a Walmart or a Target or something like that.
And how is this affecting your business?
It's helped my business a lot. There's a lot of people that are here in Abilene that are working. So I had a lot of different calls from customers just with all sorts of various pest needs. We're getting some more gas stations, some more restaurants.
Everyone's got to eat. We've seen an uptick in business. If your money is green and you're hungry, come right in.
Yeah.
I've got a table for you.
I've heard stories of when the big execs are in town.
Yeah.
Tips are pretty good on those nights.
Have all of the restaurants in the town sort of collectively been thriving with all this growth right now?
I believe so.
It's brought a lot of money into this town.
I do appreciate the growth and the more businesses and more things in Abilene. So I'm excited about that aspect of it.
Too damn many people.
Yeah.
Now it's all coming in. It's just too damn many people.
Yeah.
I'm running for Texas State Senate for District 28, which encompasses pretty much the entire area that all of these data centers are going in.
And what was it that inspired you to start your run and get involved in politics?
It's literally the data centers that got me to run.
Wow.
To coming to our area. I don't want to sound like a Luddite necessarily, but we need a little bit of time. We need a little time. When I started doing some research into these data centers and realizing the type of infrastructure they required and resources they required, it became incredibly concerning. And then it got even more concerning when people would talk to me about it.
There's not a lot of public information. And that's where I feel like it's not helping.
Initially, when the first one went up, I didn't even know it was going up.
There's a lot of information, misinformation, whatever you want to call it, floating around about these data centers. When you start asking those critical questions, I think things get dismissed.
And would like to think I'm pretty informed. But I feel like the level of information we're given is like 6th grade information.
Yeah.
And they're keeping all the master's degree stuff for themselves. I don't like to use the word transparency, but it's not clear what we're doing.
Our requests for access to the Project Stargate site in Abilene were denied by Oracle. Today is Abilene's 145th anniversary. City officials are hosting a State of the City event with the theme of the next frontier. Pretty sure they're going to discuss data centers today.
Listen here, buddy. I've heard about you and your kind all over town. Changing things up, making room for new development.
All of my family and friends are fully employed. Now, it's time to really get this birthday party going. Let's see if I can use AI to kick it off.
Create a 145th birthday celebration
What
for an
is going
amazing
on?
view for the best city in West Texas.
Oh my God.
Give it some balloons.
I feel like a lot of people have a conception of Texas as sort of a place that's resistant to change. What do you do to navigate this and ensure people you can address their needs and make sure quality of life is not too disrupted?
We're in what is typically called a boom,
Yeah.
you know, with this construction project. I think that boom will be short-lived, but so what we're looking for more is the long-term jobs and the long-term people that are going to move to Abilene. That they're going to call Abilene their home now. So it's the price of progress. That's never fun.
Do you think that as Texas navigates this, that Abilene could provide a path forward for other people to learn from your growing pains?
We definitely want to be, you know, that springboard. Abilene wants to be a business friendly, but we also always want to take care of our citizens because their safety is our number one priority.
And are there any concerns that you have, like if this is not navigated correctly?
What happens when we have the construction finished and this big exodus of workers that have been here and you know, spending money in our economy? You know, how are we going to deal with that? Is there going to be a crime rate increase when the jobs go away and people are still living here? So yes, there's always things that we'll worry about, but everyone's very optimistic about what's happening here. Now, is everybody thrilled with it? No.
Yeah.
But I think the majority are optimistic, and they can see what it is doing for Abilene and our economy. What we want to do is make sure that there's not a big plunge at the end of this that creates a big hole in our economy.
I guess I'm curious, is it possible for a data center to be sustainably developed?
Yeah, I think so. I think the question is, how do you define sustainable from a community standpoint? What does it mean for a community to say this is a sustainable? You know, from a tax revenue and a fiscal side, do you bring positive impact of workforce or, you know, positive community benefits? What's the cost of infrastructure, the electricity, water, everything together? What's the net cost or benefits to the community?
What would you say the best possible scenario for a data center build out going forward is?
Community engagement and education. It is not an option. It is not something afterthought. When there is not enough, you know, symmetry of knowledge, uncertainty of unknown become resistant.
What does this exponential curve mean to us?
I think it's hard for them to realize that, oh, it does have its place here. It's something new that we all have to adapt to because it's here.